Carson Wentz was the MVP when last seen on the field. They're nicked up here and there. That all allows maybe Washington, maybe Dallas, I don't know, not my Giants, to stick around for a little while. But class tells over time. 16 games will be long enough, and I expect the Eagles to win this division comfortably, mainly because I don't think much of Dallas or Washington.
I'm not going to say comfortably, and the reason why the word comfortably doesn't come to my tongue is because of the NFC East. It doesn't matter how awful you are in the NFC East. When you're going up against each other, it's always competitive, and there's always a surprise that arrives. Whether it's the Washington Redskins suddenly winning the game, they could be 3-13, and then suddenly they'll beat the Cowboys at FedEx Field. If it's the New York Giants, they're 4-12, but Eli Manning and them show up for one afternoon and they beat the Eagles or something like that. These are the kind of things that happen in the NFC East. It's fool's gold for anybody to assume, even though the Eagles won the division by 4 games last year, that wouldn't have been the case if Ezekiel Elliott hadn't been suspended for 6 games. It would have been much closer within the division.
They went 3-3 in those 6 games. You think it was 6-0?
I think about 5-1 is conceivable. I definitely do. And I think that, 5-1 basically puts you at 11-5. I think the Eagles would have been 12-4, for example, and it would have been something along those lines. That's the kind of stuff that I'm alluding to here. The NFC East is too competitive to assume, even with Carson Wentz, that anyone is going to run away with
rivalry game's always tough in the NFC East.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with Stephen A. Listen, I don't think this is going to be a runaway. I think the Eagles are the class of the division. Am I picking them to win the division? Absolutely. But I think it's going to be a close call come down the stretch. Listen, Jay Ajayi is gone, is injured and banged up. Mike Wallace is banged up. Carson Wentz is coming back from an ACL injury. And we saw just past week in Tampa Bay how the Buccaneers went at him. They went directly at him. So I'm looking at a team, right? The Cowboys, the Giants, the Redskins, they know this personnel. They understand who the Eagles are personnel-wise, and they know their strengths and weaknesses. It's going to be a tight race. I think the Eagles win it in the end, but it's going to be maybe by a game or two. And I'm not saying who's going to come in second, but I think the NFC East is better than what you think it is.
I mean, I don't know. Eli looks cooked to me, and believe me, it gives me no pleasure to say that. He looks cooked to me. He
Eli
looks
went against one of the best defenses in the league.
And by the way, the Cowboys have like a regressive offense that's centered around a running back.
Let me respond to that while both of y'all are here. I understand that Eli, particularly when he got hit, because no quarterback wants to get hit. He looked like a deer in headlights, no question. I ain't like seeing the offensive lineman pull him off the ground and seeing his eyes bulging, bigger than yours, by the way. I didn't like seeing that, but I will tell you this. Eli Manning, we've been talking about the offensive line and Eric Flowers at right tackle. I got news for you. Nate Solder hasn't been that impressive at the left side. The fact is that he wasn't there for run blocking because he's not an elite run blocker. He's a big-time pass protector. And the last time I checked, when you watch Eli Manning, he ain't getting pressure just from one side. He's getting it from both.
Yeah, now his center's done.
Saquon Barkley, with the exception of the 68-yard scamper against Jacksonville when they were down in a hole, this man is averaging 2.5 yards
in the backfield.
He's averaging 2.5 yards a carry.
Wait a minute, Stephen A. So with that, okay, go ahead.
You guys are basically, y'all are just, you're throwing the Giants away, so they're out of this.
I'm not.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not.
No, it sounds like everyone's saying that the Giants are out of this.
Let me clarify. I think Max and Molly have been alluding to what they're seeing or not seeing from Eli Manning. I'm saying it's not just his fault. That offensive line is still a big-time and I think that has to be held against.
I want to know who finishes second in this division.
I think Washington.
That's what I want to know.
Washington maybe, but Darren, what I'm saying about the Giants is, I think so. What I'm saying about the Giants is usually Eli gets blamed for stuff that's not his fault, and I've defended him throughout his career. This season, other guys are getting blamed for stuff that's Eli's fault. Saquon never gets the ball on his steps when there's a short pass ever. Eli's checking down on every play. He's not accurate down the field. He's not finding his receivers. He's making his O-line look worse than they are. He's been terrible.
You're also letting Saquon off the hook because he tap dances a lot. He tap dances a lot.
We're talking about a Giants team that's talent loaded on the offensive side of the ball. Am I correct?
Right.
The wide receivers. Okay, look, Pat Shermer's coming in his first year. The team has not fully digested the entire playbook just yet. Why not give this team some time? They played Jacksonville, who's probably the most dominant defense in the league. They went on the road to an NFC East rival in the Dallas Cowboys, who, by the way, do have a really good pass rush, and the defense has stepped up this year. They're going to be a formidable defense the entire season. let's not just throw the Giants away.
They'll get better as the season goes on, but I'm not going to make the playoffs.
And the first half of the season for the Giants, it's going to be a tough first half. But this is a team that could easily bounce back.
Well, they can easily bounce.
Hold on, Darren. Throw them under the bus now.
They can easily bounce back because of the competitive fervor I said exists within the NFC East. But let's be clear. The problem, again, is, to me, the offensive line. To Max, it appears it's more Eli. And I'm saying Eli has to get an opportunity to throw the football for Saquon Barkley to be effective, for Eli to be effective. That offensive line, it's not just Eric Flowers. It's not just Eric Flowers.
True.
That left side has been questionable as well, which means that Gettleman hasn't done the job he was expected to do thus far.
But Darren,
That's all I'm saying.
Look, the O-line's going to play better as the season progresses. They'll get to know each other, a lot of new pieces. Shermer's offense, everything you're saying may be true. But the Giants and the Cowboys and Washington, for that matter, they're 8-8-ish kind of teams. They're middle of the pack at more or less.
We bragged about Shermer.
Hold up. So if you've already lost to a team like the Cowboys, you're 0-2. The Giants are a 7-9 type of team. Cowboys got a little lucky. Maybe they're a 9-7 kind of team. Maybe. These are not 10-plus win teams. None of them. The Eagles are the only one.
Darren, Max said that he feels like the Redskins could finish second.
Absolutely.
What do you say to that?
I think it's a toss-up right now. I really do. I think it's, listen, the Redskins, they played well. They have a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Alex Smith, again, he's, these teams right now, if you really think about, look, the Eagles right now are the team that they've been built this way. You know what they look like defensively. They are the defending Super Bowl champions, so you sort of know who the Eagles are as an identity. If you look at the Redskins with Alex Smith coming in, this is a new offense that he's getting to know. He's digesting this playbook. He's moving forward. This entire offense is going through this. So there's going to be some growing pains early. It's the same thing with the Giants. There's a lot of growing pains with this offense. They're going to have to know each other, get to understand the wrinkles of this offense. And then the Cowboys, look, the Cowboys are a team right now in the NFC East where defensively, they're better on the defensive side of the ball than they are on the offensive side of the ball.
That's what I'm saying. By the time
there's so
any
many
of these
balls
teams
right now,
figure
so it's
it out,
hard
it's going
to
to be
juggle
too
this
late.
right now, decide on who the best team is. Talk to me in week 8.